indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is convened in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act of New Jersey. Let the official minutes reflect that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by publishing a notice in the Asbury Park Press on Tuesday, January 8, 2019, and also forwarded to the Toms River Times, Toms River Patch, and WOBM News on Wednesday, January 3, 2019, and thereafter posting the same on a Town Hall bulletin board for such notices and filing same with the Township Clerk pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Township Council on January 3, 2019. The notice was also published on the Township webpage. I'd also like to read a statement from the Township Council concerning official Township social media platforms. In recent months, the Township Council has become aware of a growing number of print and online publications, internet websites, and social media platforms that publish information and commentary about issues affecting the Township. Many of these outlets use newspaper-sounding names, often with Toms River as a prefix, or borrow the Township's well-recognized logo, conveying the false impression that they are official sources for Township information or part of the legitimate media. In fact, however, much of the information and commentary circulating on these sites is at best inaccurate and unsubstantiated, and at worst biased and inflammatory. Although they have, under our country's laws, the right to operate, we believe that these outlets hinder rather than help a robust, constructive, and civil public discourse on important matters affecting the Township. So that the general public is not misled by gossip and rumor and knows where to obtain accurate and official information about Township-related matters, we caution that the following are the only Township-operated social media platforms: http://www.tomsrivertownship.com, https://www.facebook.com/TomsRiverNewJersey/ https://twitter.com/TomsRiverTownship, https://www.instagram.com/TomsRiverTownship/. Regardless how efficient looking or official sounding, no other social media platforms are owned, operated, sponsored, or affiliated with the Township. The Township neither provides content for nor endorses the material promulgated on these sites. Moreover, the Township disavows the opinions and viewpoints expressed on these sites, which belong solely to the site's proprietors and individual users. Members of the public seeking official information regarding matters affecting the Township or who wish to communicate with elected officials should do so through official channels. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Here.
Councilman Kubel.
Present.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Present.
Councilman Roderick.
Here.
Councilman Turnbach.
Here.
Council Vice President Hill.
Here.
Council President Whitman.
Here.
First item on the agenda are the approval of minutes. The minutes of January 23rd, 2019, and the minutes of February 12th, 2019, which we will do in two separate roll calls. First, we will do January 23rd, 2019.
Move the minutes. Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Maruka, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
The minutes of February 12th, 2019.
Move the minutes.
Should be the 12th, Allison.
Yeah,
February 12th was
February 12th, what did I say?
19.
Oh, I'm sorry. The minutes of February 12th, 2019.
Move the minutes.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Turnbach, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Kubel?
Abstain, I was not present.
Councilwoman Maruka?
Abstain, I did not attend.
Councilman Roderick?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Abstain, I was absent.
Next, we have our honoring resolutions and presentations. Tonight, we have a retirement of Kevin King, and we have the swearing in of the auxiliary officers.
Move the resolutions and presentations.
Second?
Motion made by Councilwoman Maruka, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilwoman Maruka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Kubel?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill,
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes. Council, would you join me in the well? Okay. So we're going to call up Lou Amoruso to speak on behalf of an employee that's retiring.
Thank you, Council President. Mayor Kelleher, rest of the council. Tonight we're here to recognize the retirement of a longtime member of Public Works family, Kevin King. And I'm really surprised to see what a great turnout we had. Apparently, Kevin's got a lot of friends here tonight. We really packed the crowd. You know, on a night like tonight, when a man reaches retirement after almost 30 years in Public Works, it's kind of easy to overlook how he got here. And it's a very, very taxing, a very physically demanding job in elements under less than ideal conditions, collecting trash, plowing snow, leaf season. Kevin started with us in 1989 and started out as a seasonal, was then hired as a full-time laborer. And he studied and he got his commercial driver's license and then became a driver for us. And, you know, 29 years goes in the blink of an eye, but when you think about what it's like to get up on the hottest day of the year in the summertime, when you just rather not do it, get on the back of a garbage truck and spend, back then you were working long hours in the summertime, probably 10, 12 hours in 90-plus degree heat, collecting garbage. It's a very, very tough job. Just to get out of bed and get to work in the morning is really an accomplishment. I mean, you know, we kind of take it for granted, but these guys work really, really hard under less than ideal conditions. Kevin was, I'd like to say, was one of my more colorful employees of Public Works. Never shy about telling me what was on his mind. And we've had a good relationship. I knew Kevin even before I got to Public Works. We had a very, very close mutual friend, Joey Montemerno, who I have to mention tonight, who unfortunately died a few years back of cancer. And I know Joey's looking down on us tonight, Kevin. Did a good job as a driver and then was recognized by his peers and was elected as a shop steward, which is a position of trust and honor. You know, he represented his fellow workers when they had little scrapes and had to come before me. And Kevin did a good job of talking me down off the ledge when I really wanted to come down with a sledgehammer. And he did his best for his coworkers. Kevin, you've been a friend. We're going to miss you, and I wish you well. Come on up. We got to give him a clock.
This is my pleasure, Kevin, to present this clock to you for a guy who's never worked for late. We give you a clock so you'll know what time it is. But just take this as some token of our appreciation for everything you've done that Lou so nicely spelled out for us, and wish you good luck in the future. And I know I speak on behalf of not only myself but all the members of the council. So good luck and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, the next item on our agenda is the swearing in of our auxiliary police officers. I'd ask them if they would all come up here, please. For the benefit of those who are here, our auxiliary police are volunteers who serve a very worthy function in our town. They're available to supplement our police department. They work endless hours under adverse conditions, and we couldn't do the job without them. And this way, we can preserve our regular officers to do what they're sworn to do. So we're going to introduce the oath of office here. Just have to get the copies of it over here, Sarge. Excuse me. All right, I'm going to ask each of you to raise your right hand and repeat the oath after me. And when I say aye, I want you to each repeat your own name, and then we'll do the oath of. Do you want the chief? No. Deputy Chief. Okay. All right. That's it. Close it in. All right. Raise your hand. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people, and I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the Office of Auxiliary Police, according to the best of my ability, so help me God. All right, congratulations, God bless. Thank you. Going to introduce our chief, Mitch Little, who just wants to say a word.
Thank you. I just want to tell everybody, obviously, these people are unsung heroes. There are volunteers, as the mayor said. They put in thousands of hours a year. We can't thank them enough for their service. They help us. They help the officers on the road every day. And sometimes you never see them. They're out there in the catastrophes, the bad weather, and everything else. We just changed leadership a little bit. Deputy Chief, they fall under Deputy Chief Brosnan and under Lieutenant Morsch. And Gene Pachonsky was basically their liaison to the police department for years. He did an amazing job. And now we have Sergeant Steve Eubanks. And Steve, he's a Southern guy. Where's he at? There he is. So he goes by middle name, first name, whatever we decide to call him that day. We had an awards dinner for them on Friday. And Scott is just going to explain a little bit about that. And we have a few more awards to give out, too.
Thank you, Chief. Our auxiliary force, it's a 100% voluntary unit. These people come in on their off time for parades, emergency call-outs. We just had one the other day for all the power outages for the wind. Some people came out. Very dependable, and we appreciate your help. Maria Cusimano, can you come up for a sec? We had an awards dinner Friday. Everybody couldn't make it, so every year we have this awards dinner, and people who are worthy of award get an award. So Maria is getting her first year of service at Green and Yellow Ribbon for 1 year good conduct, and a star on that bar for your first 100 hours. So thank you. There you go. And hey, I appreciate what you guys do, and it is noticed. Thank you.
All right, a little administrative detail. You all have to sign this oath, so we have some pens here, and if you just all come over to the end and take one of these pages, you want to pass them out there. So, Linda, let me get those pens from you. All right, thank you. There you go. Okay, just file right over there. Yeah, do it at the end of the table. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to resume the meeting, but we're going to jump the order. So the first item I'm going to ask to have read is resolution number 15. I ask Anthony Merlino, our attorney, to read the resolution, and then we'll have a vote on it.
A resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, opposing and condemning all forms of expression that promote hatred, bigotry, and prejudice. Whereas the First Amendment to the United States Constitution and Article 1, Section 6 of the New Jersey Constitution guarantee citizens of this country and state the inalienable right to freely speak, write, debate, discuss, and publish ideas, opinions, and sentiments on all subjects without government abridgment, interference, or censorship. And whereas those constitutional protections foster a robust marketplace of ideas that undergirds our political institutions, safeguards our freedoms, and allows for the peaceful resolution of people's philosophical differences, and whereas the inalienable right to freedom of speech, although vast, is not unlimited and carries with it the responsibility to exercise that right in ways that encourage intelligent, civil, and constructive discourse. And whereas that responsibility is often ignored and the right to freedom of speech abused by publications that appeal to, promote, or incite bias, bigotry, and prejudice against certain groups and individuals. And whereas those divisive publications, in whatever form, hinder a constructive dialogue and impede efforts to foster greater unity and understanding among people from different faiths and cultures, and have no place in the civic discourse contemplated by the free speech guarantees of the federal and state constitutions. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, as follows. The Township Council hereby opposes and condemns, as an abuse of constitutional free speech guarantees, all communications, publications, and other forms of expression that promote, purvey, or perpetuate hatred, bigotry, and prejudice against particular groups and individuals. A copy of this resolution shall remain on file in the office of the Township Clerk and provided to the named parties.
I would like to have a roll call vote on this, please.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilwoman Maruka. Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes. At this point in the meeting, we're going to open it up for public comment. I'd ask anyone that wants to speak on this to come forward and identify themselves, their name and address, and we have 5 minutes.
Honorable Mayor, Scott Gartner. I'm a resident, as you know, of
Yep.
Toms River, 524 Fielders Lane. Pardon me. My memory's good, but you can see the gray in my beard. Honorable Mayor and esteemed members of the Township Toms River, it's an honor for me to exercise my inalienable right under God to speak freely as a free man. I consider that tremendous opportunity for dialogue, and for that I'm thankful. I'm very thankful to have been born here in the United States under the Constitution of the United States and the freedom of speech as enforced by the Bill of Rights is a cornerstone to a healthy civilization. I would just like to say a few words. I'll stay under the 5 minutes, George. I don't like when the world remains silent about injustice. Much of my family perished, was killed, was murdered. Unspeakable horrors in the Holocaust. And I don't like to invoke the Holocaust. I like to get past it, but it's really hard. Whenever human beings suffer and endure humiliation, Elie Wiesel said, we must always take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the victim. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Sometimes we must interfere. When human lives are endangered, when human dignity is in jeopardy, national borders and sensitivities become irrelevant. Whenever men or women are persecuted because of their race, religion, or political views, that place, at that moment, becomes the center of the universe. And that center of the universe is here and now for me. There's truly so much injustice perpetrated around the world, in our country, and in our own neighborhoods. Right here, as might have been noticed, and evident to some people here. My wife and I and my youngest son were walking on Silverton, right near home, Mo, right? Just the walking distance. We were walking home for Shabbos, our unofficial Shabbos shul, and a van, a pickup truck drove by and said "effing Jews," purposefully and knowingly, premeditatedly, because his window was down, threw an iced coffee, a third of an iced coffee, at us, and it hit my wife, that beautiful lady, my wife of 35 or 36 years. I don't know, I might get in trouble for that. But quite frankly, at 58 years old, I never expected anything like this to happen to me in the United States or the great state of New Jersey. I've lived in Baltimore, I lived in Jerusalem, I've lived in Brooklyn, I live here in New Jersey, and I'm absolutely shocked. And I don't put the blame on any one person. I think as a society, we have to come to talk with Jesus. I mean, this is not right. It's not right. I'll share a little story with you. We were in Brooklyn, our factory. We have a small clothing company of 125 people. And after 9/11, we wanted to get out of New York. We felt it was subject to a lot of business interruption. And we bought a factory, 200,000 square feet in North Carolina. And before the closing, as you have papers in front of you, you go to a closing, the lawyers have all the papers. Bob Boito, my attorney, pulled me over into the side of a North Carolina office, and he says, "Scott, do you know what you're getting into here?" I said, "Bob, I've been around the world and then some." I said, "Yeah, I know what I'm getting into." He says, No, really, do you know what you're getting into?" I said, "What are you referring to?" He says, "Did you ever hear of something called polite anti-Semitism?" And I said, "No, please educate me." Well, he told me a few things, and it really didn't affect me, because after 15 years, we have 125 really happy, productive, successful people, Hispanic people, black people, every type of person, moms that became a plant manager. And the bottom line is, I embrace people, I love people, I give to people. When I am a person of that character and I am assaulted, as we were, I find that very objectionable. In fact, a young man of 19 years old admitted to the detective he threw it solely based on my visual appearance as an Orthodox Jew. If my 5 minutes is up, then a third of my speech is finished.
Well, it's up, but if you can close, I don't want to interrupt you here, and we're trying to be...
Well, I have some very relevant points regarding that young man. I don't want to ruin his life. He's 19. I don't know under what persuasion he was and why he did that. But I'd like to find out, and through the Attorney General's office, we'll get to the root of that, and we'll help that young man. I have no hatred in my heart for that young man. We need to pray for him, and we need to help him, because hate is definitely not a place in my heart. I appreciate the leadership and the responsibilities and the weight of your decisions and how you make your proclamations and the wording that you use. I have the utmost respect for you as civil servants. It's greatly appreciated. I do want to say that it would be very helpful to make definitive judgments with your proclamations. As I mentioned, I'm a student of life. I love to learn. I like to teach. I like to mentor. I like to help people. I've been involved with Love Thy Neighbor now for about 3 or 4 months, and I really would like to empower the passion of love, the need for compassion, the need to change the rhetoric of society here in our hometown, in New Jersey, and as far as we can reach. I will be embarking on endless efforts and endeavors on behalf of a wide spectrum of religious causes, cultural causes, and different nationalities, whether it be black, Hispanic, Jewish, white, I don't care. Justice and justice prevails. Forgive me. Basically, my message is a message of love. I'm going to cut to the end what my mother taught me when I was a little kid. She said as follows. Well, pardon me. One page off.
That's all right. It's not easy to get up there and talk, I know.
No. Should have brought my own bottle of water.
Do we have an extra bottle, Allison? Yeah, give him an up.
In honor of my mother, I'll say it.
Yeah, that's all.
It's easier to love than to hate, but hate is much more powerful and harmful. So put constant energy into love. You're sweet, thank you. I've said what I wanted to say.
Okay.
I have no hatred in my heart towards anybody, but I really think that if people want true dialogue, you honorable people don't have masks on your faces. You open the microphone for humble people like me to be here. If people have issues, then open dialogue and sit with people. Sit down and work them out. That's the greatness of our country. Thank you, and I appreciate your time.
Take the water, Scott. Take the water, go ahead.
Hi.
Can you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Thank you. My name is Samantha Gertner. My address is 1217 J. Sam Court.
Susan Watson, 325 Teabury Court.
Okay.
We're here representing Ocean County Raft and a statement that our organization has prepared in response specifically to the actions of Rise Up Ocean County, but we feel reflect any group that uses speech or communication in a negative fashion to target any marginalized group. So if the council
Sure.
will allow
Can you
me.
explain what RAFT, the acronym is? Because I'm not familiar
in
with
my
it.
thing.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Ocean County Raft, Reaching Across Faith Traditions, is a group dedicated to creating a vibrant community that fosters respect, appreciation, and friendship through shared knowledge of all faiths. Raft was created because of the increasingly hostile environment developing around our changing demographics. We feel that we have a responsibility as a public group to state unequivocally that we condemn hate speech and are committed to creating opportunities for people to develop dialogues based in truth in order to expand our community. We love the Ocean County area and have faith that it is great enough to host people of many different backgrounds. While we realize that some hate speech is protected under the First Amendment, the fact is it remains hate speech. It is hateful speech aimed at attacking people based on certain protected characteristics, in this case, religion. By allowing hateful and inaccurate statements to remain public, Rise Up Ocean County is cultivating an environment of hatred and hostility that may lead to violence and discrimination. Hate crimes don't develop in a vacuum. They begin by allowing hate speech to become accepted and escalate. Even if the administrators themselves are not making hateful comments, by using familiar anti-Semitic tropes, they clearly provide the perfect platform for anti-Semitism to take root and flourish. The ignorance and lack of sensitivity demonstrated by the misuse of the Niemöller poem was apparent, and no matter what meek apology followed, the damage was already done. The seeds of hatred have been planted in ground that has been primed by continuous attacks on the Orthodox Jewish way of life. The fact that the people of Rise Up Ocean County, including the administrators, continue to take religious issues and prayers out of context as a way to demonize Jews is completely inappropriate. Jewish people no more need outside approval on matters of faith than the practices of any other religious group need to be scrutinized. Matters of faith are just that, matters of faith. They are sacred. To twist and distort them without understanding shows a gross lack of sensitivity. Every religion has issues in its canon that, when viewed in a fundamental way and without sophisticated understanding of nuance, can be demonstrated as extreme from today's perspective. Should people want to understand more, it is suggested that they seek knowledge from appropriate sources, not the internet. This is what RAFT endeavors to facilitate with our programs. It is completely wrong to continue to spread misinformation and lies as a way to demonize Jews and create the hostility towards that segment of our population or any marginalized group that we see today. Rise Up Ocean County bears a great responsibility as a publicly recognized group to set the record straight and not enable rumor and innuendo to spread as a substitute for actual facts. If Rise Up Ocean County is, as they assert, a group concerned with civic issues, then they have no business posting information maligning orthodoxy or videos from people who have left that lifestyle unless they are asserting that Jews are fundamentally evil and naturally accustomed to breaking the law. Respectfully, board members of Reaching Across Faith Traditions. Thank you very much, Council.
Thank you. Come on up, sir.
Hi, my name is Sean Highland. I'm a 40-year Ocean County resident. I grew up in Toms River Schools, graduated from Toms River High School. I work in Toms River. My wife works in Toms River. My children go to school in Toms River. And yesterday, a letter that I wrote, the Asbury Park Press, was published. And I want to read a portion of that letter and then add a few more comments that really I thought about today. It won't take me very long. As a resident of Ocean County for nearly 40 years, I am appalled by the divisive actions of Rise Up Ocean County. I support the Ocean County freeholders and other town councils that have publicly condemned this group. Without question, there are practical issues, such as infrastructure, school funding, and real estate practices that need to be addressed by people of goodwill. I have worked with the Toms River Jewish Community Council in discussing these issues and recently with the Lakewood Neighbors Coalition. Unfortunately, instead of strictly discussing possible resolutions, the RUOC has intentionally created website content delegitimizing and demonizing Orthodox Jews, thereby exposing their anti-Semitic position. They intentionally posted documentary videos and stories of former Orthodox Jews to encourage local Orthodox Jews who visit the website to abandon their community and faith. That is a repulsive strategy. Therefore, I believe the RUOC has disqualified themselves as a meaningful partner in creating healthy dialogue. Most residents of Ocean County reject the messaging of RUOC. They are simply concerned about the financial retirement investment of their home. Their fears should not be dismissed or falsely labeled as anti-Semitic. Cultural change is uncomfortable. Both Jewish and non-Jewish leaders need to be patient and proactive in addressing issues and building trusted relationships. And I'm a Christian minister. I speak to hundreds of people in Toms River every year and thousands across New Jersey. When I go across New Jersey, they say, "Where are you from, Sean?" I say, "I'm from Toms River." And everywhere I go, from north, south, east, and west in New Jersey, everyone knows Toms River. It's the center of the Jersey Shore. That means you have leadership. And as leadership, I want to encourage you to condemn the hate that comes from certain online groups. Because I work with Toms River Jewish Community Council, I work with non-Jewish people, dialoguing about the issues. And there are people of goodwill who want to find resolutions and solutions without all of the hate. Just recently, my daughter, who goes to a high school in Toms River, was on a school bus. And other high school students came on that school bus. And the engine of the school bus was giving off an odor. And they said, "What is that smell? What is that odor?" And some students said, "It must be the smell of burning Jews." Toms River, we can do better. When my friend's wife gets assaulted with coffee walking down the street, Toms River, we can do better. When playgrounds that I used to bring my children to years ago are vandalized by swastikas, Toms River, we can do better. And when anti-Semitism is on the rise all over the globe, this is New Jersey. This is Toms River. We can do better. I believe whether you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, African-American, Black, Hispanic, white, Caucasian, evangelical Christian, we're all made in the image of God. And to disgrace a person or a people is to defile the image of God. And I believe love, my friend, love, Toms River, can triumph over racism and anti-Semitism. Thank you.
Come on up, please.
Thank you. I'm Michael Cohen, 100 Huguenot Avenue, Englewood, New Jersey. I'm here tonight representing the Simon Wiesenthal Center. We are one of the world's premier Jewish human rights organizations, representing 450,000 constituents and 150,000 in the tri-state area. I do want to start off by just saying thank you to the members of this board who have taken the time to meet with us or speak to us and have those conversations. So I do want to acknowledge those individuals and mention that we do appreciate that. However, one thing which I am very happy about is the multi-faith, multi-ethnic, multi-demographic coalition that's here tonight, all saying the same thing. That Rise Up Ocean County, what they're doing is wrong. And I would be remiss if I did not say that anything less than calling them specifically out in that regard is somewhat disappointing. But we do appreciate your statements regarding hate. The reality is we have a hateful entity in our midst who is specifically using Holocaust distortion, using, as you've heard and as you've seen, the Norm Mailer poem, which is sacrosanct throughout the world of human rights. It's sacrosanct throughout the Jewish world. And anybody who is willing to use that kind of imagery and that kind of poetry and that kind of sentiment, which was specifically designated to make sure that we show how we should all work together to end all kinds of hate and anti-Semitism, and spin that in a manner in which it was spun on these videos, needs to be called out and said, you are wrong for doing so. When you use videos of children, elementary school children, and put them on videos in trying to forward your advocacy on whatever issue. I mean, I'm a father myself, and I'm sure there are many parents on this council. And I'm sure if anybody here had their child used in such a fashion, they'd be here screaming and hollering and yelling and being furious and saying, using my child is wrong. We are asking no less of any of you here tonight. We are asking you to do exactly what the Ocean County Freeholder Board just last Wednesday, when we were so proud, all of us here, to go to that meeting and profess our thanks to them for doing so. And I'll tell you, I had gotten word that they were going to do so to show our commitment to saying thank you in those kind of matters. I was literally in Manhattan when that happened. I got in my car and drove as fast as I could, drove 2 hours down to make sure that I was there to say thank you for recognizing what needed to be recognized. And there are many folks here tonight who are doing the same thing, and we're here to hopefully communicate a message that while you did pass a resolution condemning hate, we need to specifically condemn the hate in this community in Rise Up Ocean County's usage of those specific entities and of the specific videos. We are specifically saying, in a very narrow way, that entity in those specific instances was wrong. And I hope that all of you here can join us, and hopefully we can be at the next council meeting, and have you mirror the resolutions that were passed by other of your local townships and by the county to do exactly that. Because like I said, anybody who can do what Rise Up Ocean County has done in inciting anti-Semitism and hate via distortion of Holocaust poems such as Pastor Niemöller's, and anybody who can do that using the faces of our children needs to be specifically and unequivocally called out and condemned for doing so. I really thank you for your time. And I hope that, and anybody here who wants to have further conversation in the coming weeks, I'm happy to drive down anytime to speak to any person here and have those conversations and meetings and whatever is necessary. Because let's do this together. Let's fight hate together, and let's build better communities together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Catherine Morbid. I live at 2511 Hearing Road in Toms River. I'm reading this on behalf of myself and a friend who couldn't read it here tonight. I want to thank the council for recognizing that anti-Semitism is a larger problem than the current bad actor, and like a mass shooter, you don't want to give him the publicity. I appreciate that you know after the current scum, there will be others that rise up. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam Foster, 108 Teagle Drive in Brick. I have not a comment, more of a question. I wanted to address this to the council. First, I want to tell you that I'm not trying to single you out or anything, but I had a question about, I read in the newspaper that Toms River's legal advice was that they should not single out any one organization due to legal reasons. But however, the Ocean County Freeholders did single out Rise Up Ocean County. I wanted to know Is there a difference in legal liability regarding the county freeholders in a local municipality like Toms River, or would the legal liability and responsibility apply to
Have our
both?
attorney here, he can answer you. Go ahead, Anthony.
I can't speak to the legal advice that the county freeholders gave, but it was my advice to the council that a particular website should not be singled out, because that would place the council in the position of condemning every website that engages in ignorant, misinformed, biased, or prejudicial behavior. This resolution that they passed tonight is broadly and strongly worded and encompasses every website on the vast internet that engages in this type of conduct.
Yeah, the question, I'm not trying to, make a spectacle or anything here, but the question I have is that under law, county is classified as being local legal authority in law, so wouldn't the same legal standards apply equally to the Township of Toms River?
County and the township are separate entities.
Okay, that's all, the only question I had.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'm Phil Brilliant, 79 Holly Tree Lane. Mayor Kelleher, council, and the entire Toms River community, I appreciate your action tonight to denounce hate and bigotry. Tonight, I not only represent myself, but as the president of Congregation B'nai Israel, I proudly represent 260 conservative Jewish families in the greater Toms River community. Congregation B'nai Israel will celebrate its 70th year in 2020. However, our founding fathers and mothers date back to the early 1900s, when many refugees from Eastern Europe, as well as those from New York who ventured south for farmland, settled here in Toms River. I am certain I do not need to provide a Toms River history lesson tonight, recalling the days when the two-lane road we now know as the Garden State Parkway would look snow-covered, but was actually chicken feather covered from the open trucks transporting chickens to and from Toms River. Whether in the early 1900s or today, people have come to Toms River for a better place to live and to raise a family. I moved to Toms River in 1993 to work and raise a family in the gem of Ocean County. I raised 3 daughters who are all Toms River High School North graduates. 2 are Christian, 1 is Jewish. I have a 19-month-old grandson and a son-in-law. Both are Muslim. I grew up in Franklin Township, Somerset County, one of the most diverse towns in New Jersey then and now, with friends of all races and religions. We were all neighbors, a single community, and I have taught my family the same. Why would we teach our children and our children's children anything but love thy neighbor? It seems very simple. In 1971, John Lennon asked us all to imagine a place where things that divide people, whether religion, race, or possessions, did not exist. He felt that would be a better place. Lennon also thought that a softer voice, a softer, kinder approach would bring the song to a wider audience for more to listen to his message. Your resolution is just that, a soft, direct approach to a wide audience that should listen to your message. Hate speech, anti-Semitism, and bigotry of any kind has no place in Toms River. One of the core teachings of Judaism is love your neighbor as yourself. The commandment embodies individuals to teach each other as equal, which requires first valuing oneself in order to be able to mirror that love onto others. I am definitely the last one in the room to quote scripture or teach religion, but we are all created in God's image. And at some point in our life, we were taught to love ourselves and to do unto others as you would want done unto you. There is no place for hate. Most importantly, there is no place for hate speech to incite others. History has taught us, and we have witnessed in our time, that vulgar, hateful, and malicious speech has turned into violent acts against innocent men, women, and children way too often. the common childhood chant, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me," is no longer acceptable in today's society. Names and words hurt, and they incite. In 2018, our Chief of Police, Mitch Little, invited interfaith representatives of the Toms River community to discuss the need for unity among all residents of Toms River. Toms River United, uniting neighbors in town every day, was established with the simple goal of bringing all residents of Toms River out of their homes to meet and greet their neighbors, learn about their differences, as well as discuss their family values and common interests. As he has continued to say, we find out that we are more alike than we are not. Tonight's resolution reinforces our need for Toms River United and the necessity for our township leaders to walk the walk and talk the talk. I think there is no better way to close than to speak of the words of the Greater Toms River Chamber of Commerce. Let's make Toms River better together. In 2015, through a community-wide search to find the best hashtag that represents our town, WeAreTR was born. It should be our goal as a united community to create an energetic, positive, and loving community of residents, business owners, government officials, and visitors, no matter their age, their race, their religion, or their sexual orientation. WeAreTR, stronger together and stronger as one community. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Mohammed Ali Chaudhry. I live at 58 Manor Drive, Basking Ridge. I'm a former mayor of Bernards Township and also a co-founder of the New Jersey Interfaith Coalition, among many other things that I get involved in. I'm here today as a Muslim to stand with my Jewish brothers and sisters who are being targeted by this website and other forms of anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, other forms of hatred and bigotry, unfortunately, is on the rise in this country. So I also want to speak to you as a former elected official, that I feel that elected officials have a special role in sending signals to the community as to what are the values that we cherish. And I believe that the statements, Mr. President, that you gave earlier at the opening and the language of the resolution reflect that. But I believe that a lot more is needed to bring the communities together and have everyone truly respect the notion that we are all created in the image of God. We can all quote from the Quran, from the Bible, from the Old Testament, the same message: love God and love your neighbor. So I would like to give you one simple suggestion to perhaps make a difference. Because I feel that as elected officials, we are there to lead the community, and the only way we can effectively lead the community is to watch for the signals of trouble. Things that are happening that may not rise to the surface for a while. But as leaders, we have a special obligation to reach out to those members of the community who are affected, who are targeted, and also bringing other members of the community together, providing opportunities. As I just heard about, Toms River United is an effort to do that, and many other efforts are underway. But I would like to leave this with you. As a part of the Interfaith Council, Interfaith Coalition, one of the things that we have been promoting throughout the state is a pledge to stand up for the other. And that pledge came out of a discussion at an Interfaith Advisory Council of the Homeland Security Department of New Jersey. So it's not something that I just dreamt up one day. It was a reaction to what I heard at this meeting, and then felt that we needed to do something. Because what we had heard at the meeting was a synagogue had been desecrated, 3 Muslims had been killed in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, this is 4 years ago now. And when the Director of Homeland Security wanted to move on to the next item on the agenda, I raised my hand to ask ourselves that as faith leaders, when we hear about these horrible things, about bigotry, about hatred, racism, or any form of hate that is expressed, what is our obligation? And how do we know that the work we do as faith leaders or as elected officials is actually making a difference? And then I said, I would know that we would have made a difference when we see the day that when Muslims sitting at the dinner table among their own members of the community hear someone say something hateful about a Jew or a Christian or a Hindu or a Sikh, then another Muslim at that table stands up and says, that's not right. And the Jews sitting among themselves, when they hear someone say something hateful about a Christian or a Muslim or someone else, then another Jew stands up and says, that's not right. So then I asked my colleagues, about 50 people in the room, to see if they would make a pledge, a personal pledge, which will read something like this. While interacting with members of my own faith, or ethnic, or gender community, or with others, if I hear hateful comments from anyone about members of any other community, I pledge to stand up for the other and to speak up to challenge bigotry in any form. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hazan Stephen Walbeck, 1213 Steeplechase Court. Been a resident of Toms River for over a decade. I have personally experienced individual acts of anti-Semitism where people have said things at me, thrown things at me. I've seen graffiti, swastikas, etc., etc. And I've also experienced acts of philo-Semitism when the community has stood together after the shooting at Pittsburgh. And I have seen brothers of all faiths and all sides of the political aisle come together to denounce hate, as Mr. President, as mayor, as the council members, as you have graciously done today. I would urge you that we need to do more. And that's not only to condemn faith, but to promote love. We need to eliminate walls and build bridges between each other. Bridges between those who are Jewish, of Muslim, of Christian, of Hindu, of Sikh, of no faith. Bridges between Republicans and Democrats, bridges between the rich, the poor, those who have lived here for 50 years, those who are new to our community. The book of Psalms 133 states, Hine matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is for brothers and sisters to live together. We are all Toms River residents, and everyone in this room wants Toms River to be a better place. We just need to interact more with each other and to build upon that common ground of love and unity and to make Toms River stronger. Thank you.
The two folks in line, that'll be the last two that will speak on this issue. If anyone wants to speak after that, they can do it at the public comment session.
Good evening. My name is Robin Cherubini, 600 Center North Court, Toms River. I do have a question concerning the resolution, the wording in it. There are certain words that I personally don't agree with, where it's certain groups, some groups. Why can it not say all groups?
I'll ask the attorney to respond because, again, I said the lady behind you is the last one that could speak in this at this function, and at the end of the meeting, when we have public comments, anyone else who wants to speak can come up. Okay.
Well, when websites like this come about, usually they're targeted against specific groups or individuals. So that's what that wording means.
So will
It's not that all acts of hate or wouldn't be condemned by the resolution, but that's how it usually arises.
Unfortunately, that is how certain other Facebook online groups like the fake Raise Up Ocean County group will take it, or the Jackson Strong page. Those groups are very hateful, and I don't see anybody condemning them. Yes, the
Well,
Jackson
I think this
group is not
council
here.
just did.
But by saying certain and some, no. If you said all, yes,
Ma'am,
you would.
I'm sorry that you disagree with the language of the resolution, but I think it is strong
I
and
don't
properly
have a problem
worded.
having a resolution against all hatred. It's the certain and the some. That is the problem that I am having, that many other people might be having also, because I'm personally being attacked. I'm told that I'm a single man living in my parents' basement. Well, let's see. They got the single part right. I'm a man. My only living parent doesn't have a basement. I've been verbally and physically attacked just because people think I'm an anti-Semite. I try to promote peace. I belong to most of the groups that you're condemning. And I try to promote peace, yet I'm being attacked. But if I try to say something back, I'm automatically an anti-Semite. How am I supposed to protect myself when your resolution does not say all groups or all forms of hate, where it just says certain and some?
I don't know how you feel you're being attacked by the resolution or not protected by the resolution.
Not by the resolution, by certain members of those groups.
Well, my suggestion then is don't participate in those groups.
If I'm trying, so I can't try to promote peace? Like,
Well-
I'll admit, I have been very uneducated on the Orthodox Jewish religion. So I have reached out to learn more. It's been very eye-opening, and I appreciate the comments that I've
Well,
gotten
that's
back.
commendable. It doesn't seem that your message is getting through on the website, so I would stop participating in that one and go to one where it might be received.
So you don't want me to tell people, okay, that should not have been said, like telling somebody, go in an oven. No, that should not be said. And also, like people say, build the wall around Lakewood.
Your objection is
They're
noted.
talking about
Thank you for your
the
comments.
president, not
Okay.
Germany.
We're not here to argue about it, so I appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Teresa Sweet, involved with the Ocean County Human Relations Commission. And what we do, our aim is we work with the prosecutor's office, and our mission is to do programs for prevention of bias crimes. As I'm coming to speak today, as residents of Ocean County, we are at a place of growing conflict. We must explore where we go from here. There has to be an authentic dialogue to discuss each issue of contention that is respectful to the needs of each group to bring about solutions. Without exploring solutions, we do not move ahead. With authentic dialogue and setting up policies that are mutually agreed upon by each group, we have the ability to move forward. When core issues are not addressed, they only fester like an infection and only grow and become more serious. My plea is for authentic dialogue with developing policies to resolve issues that need to be addressed. Every one of us here will have a legacy to leave to the next generation. The question will be, did my actions and conversations perpetuate the current conflict, or did my words and actions bring about new solutions for deep-seated problems? We each need to look at ourselves and make a decision what legacy each of us want to give the next generation. Thank you.
At this point, we're going to close the public comment on this resolution and take a 5-minute recess.
Start with Terrence on the comments that I want to hear what he has to say.
hear you.
Allison. Number 7.
Item number 7 is an ordinance of the Township Council, Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, amending and supplementing various sections of Chapter 348, Land Use and Development Regulations of the Township Code. This is a final reading.
This is a portion of the meeting open for public comment in this ordinance only. Anyone wishing to speak, please raise your hand and come before the microphone. This is about its development ordinance, so you have a question on that? On the development ordinance? Yes. Where is it? It's throughout the town. Is that? Oh, no, I don't. Okay, anybody else?
Seeing none, move to close public comment.
Sorry, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Move the ordinance on final.
Second.
Motion is made by Councilman Kubel, second by Councilman Turnbach. Councilman Kubel?
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes.
Council President Whitman?
Yes.
Item number 8 is an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, adopting the redevelopment plan of the downtown core rehabilitation area pursuant to NJSA 40A:12A-7, also a final reading.
This is a portion of the meeting open for public comment. Before we do that public comment, I'd ask that Dave Roberts come up and just go over it real quick, so that way if he presents this, if you have any questions, you can address them.
Thank you, Council President. This is the first of 2 redevelopment plans on the agenda for this evening. It is basically the area of the downtown that covers both sides of Main Street, coming down from 37, the commercial zones along that stretch of Main Street, and then the center part of the downtown core from Main Street over pretty much to Hooper and just beyond Hooper Avenue, and then both sides of Water Street, which would run to Main Street. The redevelopment area extends beyond Main Street towards the Parkway. This is a redevelopment plan based on action Council took last year to qualify this area as an area in need of rehabilitation. And the plan is required in order to unlock some of the additional powers of the redevelopment law. And what we're hoping it will accomplish is incentivize investment in some of the older properties in the downtown core, and give us some options in terms of trying to deal with providing a more efficient use of parking between the residential uses we're hoping to attract and the commercial uses we already have. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I do have a rendering that was done, taken from the plan, that gives a visualization of what it could create. If anyone has any questions after the meeting's over, I'd be happy to stay around and answer them. And I'll have that board over on the side so they can get an idea of what we're talking about.
All right, thank you. Yep. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance, please raise your hand.
Good evening. My name is Alazar Zoraju. I am the Executive Director of the Toms River Business Improvement District. The Business Improvement District, referred to as Downtown Toms River, is referenced throughout the plan, and our board supports the plan. Dave Roberts specifically from the Planning Department, but in addition to Dave, Erica Stahl, our Township Administrator, Ward 4 Councilman Turnbach, the Mayor, and many others from the Township have communicated the objectives of this plan and solicited our input throughout the process. At our regularly scheduled monthly board meetings, often Councilman Turnbach, the Mayor, Business Administrator Guardian, and Dave are in attendance to answer questions that our board members have for them. So the feedback has been back and forth for the past several months. I wanted to make that publicly understood that the bid's been involved in this plan. In addition to those regular monthly meetings, Dave also attends our Economic Redevelopment Committee and Land Use Committee meetings. He was even our guest speaker at one of our monthly think tank sessions for community stakeholders. So we've had a lot of input back and forth throughout the plan, and again, I wanted to make sure that was publicly known. Lastly, I would like to remind the public that the plan acts as a vehicle to accomplish many of the objectives that not just the bid, but also our governing body, residents, and folks like me, for that matter, really want to see come to fruition in the downtown district. We support the plan, and if there's anyone that feels that they do not understand the plan, specifically commercial property owners and operators, to please reach out to me. and I'd be happy to get you in touch with the appropriate township staff to explain things further, or to give you our take on how the bid plans to play a role throughout the progression of downtown Toms River. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on this?
Seeing none, move to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Move the ordinance on final.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Kubel, second by Councilman Turnbuck. Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbuck.
Just want to thank Dave, Erica, all the members of the bid for all the hard work. It's very important to Toms River. We really appreciate all of your efforts. Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Item 9 is an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, amending and supplementing Section 477-12, Schedule 4, overnight parking prohibited, and Section 477-63, Schedule 5, overnight parking prohibited trucks and buses, of Chapter 477, Vehicles and Traffic, of the Township Code, final reading.
Again, this is a portion of the meeting open for public comment in this ordinance only. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance, please raise your hand.
Seeing none, move to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Council, what's your pleasure on this ordinance?
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbuck. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbuck.
Yes.
Councilman Kubel.
I'll abstain. I have not had time to review this.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Item number 10 is an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, amending and supplementing Section 477-79, Schedule 21, speed limits of Chapter 477, Vehicles and Traffic, of the Township Code, reducing the speed limit on Briar Avenue between Astoria Way and Bay Avenue from 30 miles per hour to 25 miles per hour. Final reading.
Again, this is a portion of the meeting open for public comment in this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance, please raise your hand.
Seeing none, move to close public comment.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Move the ordinance on final.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbuck.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Item 11 is an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, adopting the redevelopment plan of the Hooper-Caudina redevelopment area pursuant to NJSA 40A:12A-7, also final reading.
Okay, again, before we have the public comment, any public comment in this ordinance, I ask Mr. Roberts to come up, our township planner, and explain what this is about.
Thank you, Council President. Again, this is a new redevelopment area that was designated by Council in 2018. It covers an area that is between Caudina Avenue, which is the road that takes you from Hooper Avenue around to the Seacourt Pavilion, to the movie theater and all the stores in that direction, and the county complex on Hooper Avenue, which includes the Department of Social Services and other offices there. It's an area that is predominantly wooded currently. It is also at the location of Fire Company Number 2 substation that fronts on Hooper Avenue, and Cosabano Ave, which runs up between the fire station and the adjoining office complex, is proposed as a new road that would run through that site in the redevelopment plan that we've come up with. We're hoping that 21-acre area would be able to accommodate a couple of primary uses. One is a site for the potential relocation of the VA clinic, which is currently outgrown its facility in Brick, and also the potential relocation of the Toms River Post Office to a more central location on a larger piece of property that would free up the current post office site for redevelopment of our downtown plant. There's also a potential for reconstruction of Fire Substation Number 2, and also room left over in the back in the residential area for additional multifamily housing that would generate another 10 affordable units for the township's housing plan. So the plan is, it has a number of different uses to it, but it accomplishes a couple of major objectives for the township, and the adoption of this plan this evening will effectively allow us to move forward because the plan will empower us to enter into a redevelopment agreement, one or more of those for implementation.
All right, thank you.
And also, I do have a graphic, if anyone has any questions, that kind of illustrates the concept.
Okay, thank you. Anyone wishing to speak on this ordinance, please raise your hand.
Seeing none, move to close public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Move the ordinance on final.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Kubel, second by Councilman Turnbach. Councilman Kubel?
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes, again, I'd like to thank Dave, Erica, and Council Vice President Hill for really championing this. It's important for the downtown as well. We appreciate all your efforts, yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes, and I'd like to thank Terrence and Dave and the Planning Department. These two downtown and the Codina redevelopment projects work nicely hand in glove. As Dave said, there's a potential for the post office to move out, which opens up more of the downtown area. And if the VA picks this site, which we think is a very positive site, I think it's going to be a home run. I'll have more to speak on this with my comments and the council comments, and I vote yes.
Council President Whitman?
Yes.
Item 12 is an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 198, Boat, Docks, and Bulkheads Public of the Township Code to provide for the recreational use, storage of kayaks. First reading.
Move the ordinance on first.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Maruka, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilwoman Maruka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Kubel?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes.
Council President Whitman?
Yes.
Item 13 is a resolution to amend the 2019 temporary budget pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-20.
What's the council's pleasure?
Move the resolution.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Maruka, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilwoman Maruka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Kubel?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes.
Council President Whitman?
Yes.
Item 14 is a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, authorizing the mayor to execute a grant application and agreement and any amendment thereto for funding from the state to fund Toms River Township Open Space Project, Jersey Shore Council Incorporated, Block 411, Lot 87.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilman Kubel, second by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes. Consent agenda, right? Go ahead.
All matters listed under the item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired on any item, that item will be considered separately. Item A is a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, authorizing refund of overpayment of taxes for various properties. B is a resolution of the Township Council certifying entitlement of a 100% disabled veteran status and providing that property taxes be canceled and/or refunded. C is a resolution of the Township Council extending the term of certain contracts exempt from public bidding to March 26, 2019. D is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing a contract to HCS Heating and Cooling Incorporated to replace a split AC unit for the Department of Police in the total maximum contract amount not to exceed $10,500. E is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing Amendment 3 to the resolution dated April 10, 2018, which awarded a contract to Toms River Security Systems Incorporated for inspection, testing, testing, monitoring, maintenance, and repair services of various systems, including portable fire extinguishers, fire suppression systems, water-based fire protection systems, and fire and burglar alarms, and to the resolution dated December 11, 2018, which added the Bailey Golf Course Clubhouse burglar alarm monitoring to Section 3 of the above contract. This Amendment 3 will add the Youth Center to Section 3, water-based fire protection systems at the annual testing fee of $250, and it will also be added to Section 4, alarm monitoring and testing, which at this time was for burglar alarm only, at a fire alarm monthly monitoring fee of $30 per month, and the fire alarm annual test fee of $180 through April 9, 2021. Item F is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing the second and final one-year contract extension of an open-ended contract with Grand Turk Equipment Company Incorporated for the supply of Labrie or equivalent repair parts for the Department of Public Works. G is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing the second and final contract extension of an open-ended contract with Grand Turk Equipment Company Incorporated for the supply of Loadmaster or equivalent repair parts for the Department of Public Works. H is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing award of open-ended contracts for the supply of grass seed, fertilizer, herbicides, fungicides, insecticides, in-field mix, top dressing, and bunker sand to Reed and Perrine Sales Incorporated, Davison Golf Incorporated, Plant Food Company Incorporated, Harrell's LLC, Fisher & Son Company Incorporated, Seton Turf Warehouse LLC, Site One Landscape LLC, Nutrient AG Solutions Incorporated, Levitz LLC, Helena Agri, Tri-State Materials LLC, trading as Green Pro Materials, Grassroots Turf Products Incorporated, Outdoor Home Services GP LLC, Outdoor Home Services Midco LLC, doing business as True Green Limited Partnership as lowest responsible bidders. Item I is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing award of open-ended contracts to Varsity Brands Holding Company Incorporated, BSN Sports LLC, doing business as BSN Sports, SS Equipment Holdings LLC, Riddell All-American as lowest responsive bidders for the supply of sporting goods. Item J is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing payment for VCI Emergency Vehicle Specialist Bayhead Investments Incorporated for repairs to an ambulance involved in a motor vehicle accident in the amount of $23,133.57. The vehicle was sent to VCI by our insurance adjuster, and the repair is covered by insurance. Item K is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing the Township to reject all bids as received for leasing of Township fleet vehicles and purchase vehicles from various state and cooperative contracts. L is a resolution of the Township Council rescinding award of contract to PM/AM Corporation for alarm registration and management services for the Toms River Police Department and authorizing rebid of these services. M is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing the use of various cooperative contracts to purchase equipment for police vehicles for the Toms River Police Department in the total maximum contract amount not to exceed $24,451.16. Item N is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing Robert J. Chincalian, Township Engineer, to execute an Ocean County Soil Conservation District Soil Erosion and Sediment Control Plan certification application for the Guilford Park Boat Ramp Project and authorizing payment of the required permit fee in the amount of $2,170. O is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing Robert J. Chincalian, Township Engineer, to execute an Ocean County Soil Conservation District Soil Erosion and Sediment Control Plan certification application, permit, and a New Jersey Department of Transportation for highway occupancy permit for work related to the demolition of the Red Carpet Inn and authorizing payment of the required permit fees in the amount of $1,630, Ocean County Soil Conservation Permit in the amount of $1,235, and the NJDOT Highway Occupancy Permit in the amount of $395. Item P is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing the Purchasing Division and Engineering Division to advertise for and receive bids for the Veterans Park Girls Softball Field Parking Lot Expansion Project. Item Q is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing the Purchasing and Engineering Divisions to advertise and receive bids for demolition of the Red Carpet Inn. Item R is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing a professional service contract with the firm of Remington and Vernick Engineers to assist the Township Engineering Department in completing the storm sewer pipe replacement and mill and overlay project for the Gardens at Pleasant Plains, also including updating handicap ramps to the latest ADA requirements for a total maximum amount not to exceed $100,000. S is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing to purchase of vehicles from Bear Ford LLC, Bear of Morristown LLC, using ESCNJ Contract Number 17/18-21 and New Jersey State Contract Number 88231 for various departments in the township in the total contract amount not to exceed $253,295.92. Item T was removed from the agenda. Item U is a resolution of the Township Council imposing charges incurred under Section 3 of the 2006 International Property Maintenance Code as a lien on real property and directing the tax collector to collect these costs and impose interest on unpaid costs in the same manner as provided for in the collection of real estate taxes in the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey. Item V is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing taxi cab company license in accordance with Chapter 457. W is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing taxi driver licenses in accordance with Chapter 457. X is a resolution of the Township Council releasing maintenance guarantees for a minor site plan known as Monahan's Liquors, Block 706.03, lots 1, 3, 4, 5, and 40 at 1615 Route 37 East. Y is a resolution of the Township Council accepting reduced performance guarantees for a major subdivision known as Hickory Pines, Block 165, lots 7, 10, and 11, 2201, 2227, and 2245 Lakewood Road. Item Z is a resolution of the Township Council releasing maintenance guarantees for a major site plan known as Lowe's Home Center, Block 414, lots 2.01, 2.02, 3, 4.07, 50, and 57 at Hooper Avenue. Item AA is a resolution of the Township Council releasing maintenance guarantees for a major site plan known as Ocean Center, also known as Lowe's Home Center, Block 414, lots 2.01, 2.02, 3, 4.07, 50, and 57 at Hooper Avenue. Item BB is a resolution of the Township Council releasing maintenance guarantees for a major site plan known as St. Elizabeth's Chapel by the Sea, Block 1011, lots 150, 151, and 152 at 3rd Avenue. Item CC is resolution of the Township Council releasing performance guarantees and accepting maintenance guarantees for a major site plan known as St. Elizabeth's Chapel by the Sea, Block 1011, lots 150, 151, and 152 at 3rd Avenue. Item DD is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a major site plan known as Block 578, lots 3.01 and 3.03 at 1201 Hooper Avenue. EE is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a minor subdivision known as Area Properties LLC, Block 235, lots 5.02 at Kettle Creek Road. FF is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a major site plan known as Block 404, lots 58, 69.02, and 70 at Route 37 West. And item GG is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing the Division of Purchasing to utilize Ocean County Cooperative Contract Number B 2018-45E with Eagle Paving Corporation for the replacement of curbs and sidewalks for the Department of Parks, Buildings, and Grounds with an estimate of $93,647.50. Contract will not exceed $100,000.
Okay, Council, I'd like to say that item R got on the agenda when I asked to have it removed, so if we could vote to have that removed, it didn't follow the process.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And then I need a roll call on item EE, and then I'll ask the council what any other items they'd like to have removed or discuss separately. Anyone? Okay. Then I'll ask the public if they'd like to discuss any items separately.
Seeing none, move the bills. Move the consent agenda, sorry.
Second.
Motion made to move the complete consent agenda with the exception of item EE. Motion made by Councilman Kubel, second by Councilwoman Maruka. Councilman Kubel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick?
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes.
Council President Whitman?
Yes, I'd just like to clarify that includes the removal of R
Correct.
from there. Okay. And I vote yes. Now, can we have a roll call on item EE?
Move EE.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Maruka, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilman Roderick.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
I'll abstain. I have a conflict with that vendor or person.
There are no reports tonight, so we will move directly to the bills.
Move the bills.
Second.
Okay.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Maruka, second by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilwoman Maruka?
Abstain to PO 1900798, payable to NJMVC, and PO 18-00284, 19-00039, and 19-00240, payable to Dasty McGuckin, and PO 18-01309 and 19-00231, payable to Gregory McGuckin. I have a conflict with those, but yes to the balance.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Abstain from PO 14-03696, 17-00117, 19-00035, 19-00223, 19-00226, 19-00236, 19-00589, 19-00590, payable to Remington and Vernick. PO 19-00485 and PO 19-00798, only as it pertains to recreation salaries, and PO 19-00619, payable to Borough of Lavalette. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Kubel.
Abstain to PO 19-00759, payable to Toms River Fire Company Number 1, in the amount of $1,216.43. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Roderick.
I have no conflicts. I vote yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Abstain to PO 19-00485 and 19-00798, payable to the magistrates. PO 19-00455, payable to City Holzappel. PO 18-00284, 18-1309, 19-00039, 19-00231, and 19-00240, payable to the law firm of Dasty McGuckin, a local attorney in town. I have conflicts with all three of those. Yes to the balance.
Council Vice President Hill.
A yes with the following abstentions: 18-01556, payable to Ocean County Board of Health. I'm a member. 19-00456, payable to Terry Brady Esquire. 18-07404, 19-07437, 19-00228, 19-00597, 19-00622, 19-00625, 19-00626, 19-00627, 19-00628, payable to Owen Little Associates. 19-00161, 19-00394, 19-00885, payable to Toms River Board of Education. And on Toms River payroll, 19-00352, 19-00596, 19-00902, 19-00485, 19-00798, only as it pertains to Toms River Schools and St. Luke's Church. I'm a member of St. Luke's, and yes to the balance on that PO.
Council President Whitman.
I have yes with the following exceptions. Purchase order number 19-00692, 19-00039, line 22, 19-00240, line 13, payable to area properties, and 19-0035, line 6, 27, and 19-0023, again, payable to area properties in a total amount of $10,419.73. I have a conflict. Purchase order number 19-00039, in the amount of $94.50, payable to Frank Sadeghi. I have a conflict. And to the Toms River Yacht Club, purchase order 19-00039, 19-00240, 19-0035, line 33, in the amount of $148.50. I'm a member of the Toms River Yacht Club. Yes to the balance.
Next are elected officials' comments.
Okay. Mayor Kelleher. Okay. Councilman Turnback.
Just want to thank all the eloquent speakers we had with regard to Resolution 15. I think it was a very important step that the township took tonight. And, I've thought a lot about what I wanted to say in that regard, and just to hear the beautiful comments of our members of our township is encouraging to me. I want to indicate that we're all a community here. And within the word community is the word unity. And the chief has started Toms River United, and it's a very beautiful project that really, I think, reflects who we are as a township. There's no room for hate speech in our township. I'm a lawyer. I understand that things are at times legally permissible. That doesn't make things right in my mind. Just because something's legally permissible doesn't make it right. No member of our township, no matter what race, religion, creed, orientation, should not feel welcome or unwanted or targeted. That's not who we are. We're better than that. There's signs in this audience tonight: love thy neighbor, Toms River better and stronger. That's who we are. I want to encourage those that have issues or believe in their heart that they've got issues of concern to come forward. Let's have a healthy dialogue. Let's talk. Someone that spoke tonight on Resolution 15 quoted Chief Little, and Chief Little always says, if you can come to the table and we can talk out our differences, we'll always find that we've got more in common than we do apart. And I love our chief. I love what he stands for, and he could not be more right. I've experienced it being on this council for 1 year, and it's amazing when you can bring communities together. You see what we are all about as Toms River. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Maruka.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to read some excerpts from a letter I received from School Board President Joe Nardini. He had said, first, thank you for your support for the Toms River Regional Schools. And he said, I'm sure you're aware that the state is about to decimate our school district. There is a plan in place to take approximately $80,000 cumulatively over the next 6 years from our school funding. The state's plan is for us to replace this money through taxes. With a cap of 2%, this is impossible and unfair for our taxpayers. The effect on the 2019-2012 district budget is a $5 million cut to stay under the cap. This money grab will cost our district approximately 80 jobs, fewer supplies, countless cutbacks, and will adversely impact athletic programs this year alone. So I'm not asking for your money, just support. We need every citizen in our great town to get out and make their disapproval known to this state. He's encouraging everyone in the governing body to reach out to their constituents. I've sent this letter to homeowners associations in my area that they would know about this. But most importantly, they're planning a bus trip to Trenton on Tuesday, March 5th, and they're asking for everyone who can possibly join them to do so. They will be supplying a minimum of 10 to 50 passenger buses and hopefully more if needed. We need to let Trenton know that we are not going to take this sitting down. Our newspapers and local media have been very active in providing the coverage, and the district and our board members will use every means at our disposal to share the information about this march. Please help us spread this message however you can. And I just thought tonight would be a great way to read this letter from School Board President Nardini. We have people here in the audience who care about our town. Our council meeting is over our website and everything. So if anyone is interested, they could just go to the Toms River Schools website. They can sign up for that. They like as many people there as possible. Toms River Schools, they're the second most efficiently run school per capita per student. There are other districts that are spending $40,000, $50,000 that are getting so many millions in state aid. And Toms River is being penalized for running an efficient district. And we cannot let this happen to our town. We cannot let this happen to our children. We cannot let this happen to our schools. So I urge everyone to support our school board and try to attend the meeting in Trenton, the rally in Trenton on March 5th. It's just not Toms River schools. It is most of the schools that had received funding cuts. And I know there's about 3 or 4 here in Ocean County and a few more in Monmouth. And I think the legislatures will hear loud and clear that if you're running a school district efficiently, do not penalize us and take our money away, but help us provide the education for our children. That's all I have, Council President.
Thank you. Councilwoman York?
Just a couple things, as so eloquently put by Councilman Turnback. I wanted to thank everyone for coming out and making statements against hate and bigotry. In response to our proposed resolution, the council received an email from a particular anonymous administration, and they asked us to be the judges of whether they crossed the line. And my response is twofold. One, when it comes to hate and bigotry, you should never go so close to the line that you need to ask. And secondly, that any site that or post or discussion that incites their participants to invoke the name of Hitler has gone over the line. So thank you all for coming tonight and speaking out against hate and bigotry.
Councilman Cabell?
On a lighter note,
Okay.
on a much lighter note, actually March 5th, please, I will be there. I hope to see many of you there in Trenton for our schools, because we've got to support our schools. Without a strong public school system, we don't have a strong community. So that's vital. On a much lighter note, we have the Winters Farmer Market downtown, the first Wednesday of every month from now through May. And that's from 12 to 5, and it's at 53 Main Street in the shops at downtown. So that's, you can still get your fresh fruit and veggies during the winter. And on March 9th, Haven Beat the Street, that runs our Code Blue program, is having a fundraising breakfast at Applebee's in Toms River from 8 to 12. So everybody, if you could come out and support Haven Beat the Street, that would be awesome. That's all.
Now, Councilman Cabell.
Thank you. First and foremost, I want to thank the mayor and council and all of the residents and employees while I was out on medical leave for the last month. I did get fruit baskets, and I do appreciate that, but more importantly, it was the calls that I received to make sure I was okay, and those who have called my wife and my children to make sure that they didn't need anything. It's truly appreciated. And hopefully I never have to go through it again, but I do appreciate it. And more importantly is that when they say you can talk to people and work difference out, Scott Gartner's here, and I got to tell you, I met with him, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago now, and we had a nice little chat, and he was politely, we had our differences about some things that were going on, and Scott took the time to educate me more than I knew. And Scott, I appreciate that, and I've never forgotten that. Then we went to the Toms River United at the chief's response, you know, his concerns about what was going on in the community. And the young lady from Rath, she took the time to educate Lori and Terrence and I and a few others about what really goes on behind the scenes. And it's phenomenal how you look back and what you thought you knew, but you really didn't know. And to all those people that took the time to educate me, from Toms River United and all, and a lot of them are here. I appreciate that for providing me the opportunity to learn. There is no place for bigotry or hate, whether it's intentional or not intentional, or just to drum up news or fake news. There is absolutely no room in our society for hate and bigotry. And unfortunately, during the last month, I had an opportunity to watch TV. was probably the wrong thing to do. But there's a lot of it when you start looking at it, and it is truly unacceptable. And I will continue to reach out to those with my council peers and try to learn more. And Terrence, I echo Terrence's comments. So with that, sir, I have nothing further.
Councilman Roderick?
I would just like to echo Councilwoman Maruka's concerns about school funding. $80 million is an immense amount of money to lose. I, too, will be on the bus trip to Trenton, and I hope the rest of the council will join us.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Hill?
Thank you, Council President. When we were drafting this resolution today, I went back and read the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. There's a lot in that First Amendment. I don't know if our founding fathers envisioned the diversity that we would have in this country, but they provided us with a mechanism to freely and openly, in a civil discourse, discuss and debate issues. And today we have passed a resolution that is against any abuse of that. And I would further ask that before you say anything on the internet, just think. There's a saying in the military, it's ready, aim, fire. Don't do ready, fire, aim. Think about what you're going to put on the internet, in an email, what you think, what you feel strongly may be hurtful to somebody else. And the courts have given a very wide latitude of free speech. And I'm just going to give you one example. I'm a baby boomer. My father was in World War II. He served in the infantry in the Pacific Theater. I served in the military. When I was in school, we started each day with the Pledge of Allegiance. Any of our athletic events, we had the playing of the national anthem. You stood respectfully with your heart over your, or your hat over your heart, or your hand over your heart. And the flag, desecration of the flag was a federal offense. The courts have ruled since that that's freedom of speech. And I have on 2 occasions had the opportunity to present that folded flag, the field of blue with white stars, to families of deceased veterans. And there is a saying that you give to the family, and it's on behalf of the President of the United States Navy, and a grateful nation. Please accept this flag as a symbol of our appreciation for your loved one's honorable and faithful service. The courts have held that that flag can be burned, it can be trampled on, and it can be desecrated in the name of free speech. I feel that's an abuse. It's an affront to me, but that's just one example of the court's latitude on free speech. And again, if you're going to burn the flag in front of a veteran, you're going to incite a riot. One of the other things I'd like to speak to tonight is the Caudina and Hooper Avenue redevelopment site. We found out about this kind of by accident. The congressman asked me to write a letter, and they were looking at, I didn't realize they were looking at sites in Ocean County, and we had not proposed any, so Dave and Don and their staff got together, I think in a matter of 2 weeks, a proposal, and we are under consideration. We're one of the final sites. This site, I think, is a particularly good site. It's located next to the Ocean County Veteran Services Bureau and the County Social Services. It's also within a quarter of a mile of the largest branch of TD Bank, and within the headquarters of, and again, quarter mile away from the headquarters of the largest local bank, which is Ocean First. It's located next to Seacourt Pavilion, which has movie theaters, restaurants, and retail. It's less than a half a mile away from the Ocean County Mall with retail and restaurants. It's also on a 4-lane divided highway, fully signalized. The site is served by New Jersey Bus Transit, New Jersey Transit, and the site's less than a mile and a half from the Garden State Parkway with entrances both north and southbound, entrances and exits. Not only that, Toms River is the county seat, and within a mile you've got all the other county services, Board of Elections, and everything else. Toms River has met its requirement for affordable housing, and I think that this site is an excellent site for the VA, and we're involved in, like I said, the final processes, and hopefully within the next month or so, we'll find out if we've been selected. Two other things. I was driving around the county, and if you've had the pleasure of driving New Hampshire Avenue from North Maple to Route 70, it's worse than driving the Le Mans. There's potholes all over it. Sunset Avenue from Route 9 to Whitesville is also in bad shape. I contacted Freeholder Little, and I spoke to the county engineer. Both of those roads will be repaved. Sunset Avenue is critical to our Pleasant Plains Fire Department as they use Caroline Lane to access Sunset Avenue so they can get to calls off of Whitesville Road. In addition, North Maple and Hickory Street will both be paved by the county this year. I'd also like to dovetail onto what Maria said about the school funding issue. And I apologize about the length, but this is a passionate issue. I've got 4 grandchildren in the Toms River School District. I have a daughter who teaches in Toms River. And I know ad nauseum I've mentioned what Camden and Trenton get, but to put that in perspective, Camden has 11,000 students, 2 high schools. Trenton has about 12,500, 2 high schools. They both receive 75 to 79% of their school aid from state aid, their school budget rather, from state aid. Both districts receive more in state aid than the entire Toms River regional budget. As Maria said, they're spending upwards of $35,000 per student to educate in those 2 districts with a graduation rate of less than 70%. Toms River educates the students for about $16,000 a student, and the graduation rate is 92%. We cannot accept these cuts. The fairest way to fund public education is a per student across the board payment in state aid. That's fair to everybody, whether you're in the inner city or you're in suburbia. To try to play around with these numbers and send more to an inner city and less to the suburban is just, that's not the way this country is operated. You want to do what's best for everybody across the board. It should be a per student reimbursement in state aid, and that's it. And I will be on the bus along with Dan and Lori and a whole bunch of other Toms River people next Tuesday. Thank you.
Not to be redundant, and I know the evening's getting late, but I'd like to first of all thank all the speakers for their comments regarding our ordinance, and I appreciate that you brought forth the condemnation of hate, and I want to make it clear that this council condemns all acts of hate, whether it's on a website, whether it's in person, whether it's in a street corner, and we wanted to put an ordinance together we felt was compliant with the law, but at the same time addresses the issues that were raised. And I recognize it's not going to make everyone happy, but we tried to put an ordinance together that was, or a resolution rather, that was a compromise. And I appreciate all of your comments and thank you for them. With that, I'll open up for okay. With that, I'll open up the meeting for public comment. Anyone wishing to speak, please raise your hand. This lady waited, so we want to make sure she gets up first.
Hi, my name's Melinda Murray Moich.
Can you? Yeah, we can help you with the microphone.
Is that bad? I don't.
No, we'll help you move it down so it's easier for you.
Yeah, I'm short.
That's all right. He'll fix it. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Melinda Murray Moich. Some of the people have given me the name Triple M, which is a lot easier, I guess. I'm here. I don't live in Toms River, but I live in Ocean County. My son.
Can you tell us your address?
1622 Forge Pond Road,
Okay,
Brick,
thank
New
you.
Jersey.
All right,
Okay?
thank
My
you.
son has a house here in Toms River.
Okay.
My grandson and daughter-in-law. I came tonight because I felt it was really important. I follow that site and a lot of other sites, especially if they're about environmental in our area, because we know years ago Ocean County had we were a dumping ground for up north. So I follow a lot of that. I would like to know or ask each individual one of you, have any of you spent any time on the site, Rise Up Ocean County? And if so, what did you find offensive? I'm not going to say I've never seen anything that wasn't offensive, But when you have 7,000 people working for you, you're going to get a couple of idiots. You can't keep control of everybody. So I'd like to know, did you guys all look at that site, and what did you see that was offensive on it?
I'm going to advise the council not to answer that question.
Oh, okay. Well, I follow it because it has maps of what's happening to our groundwater, the deforestation that's going on, what's happening to our school systems, and I want to thank you, which I should have done first, for passing that resolution. Everybody hates hate. Everybody hates hate. But what I think this is has been spun off by a very small group of wealthy developers into an anti-Semitic thing that it is not. It's been spun off by a little group of and got everybody all twisted up to think that it's a whole lot more. It's not a perfect world. We're not living in utopia. I know that. You know that. There's always going to be somebody hating somebody for some reason. But that's not what this is. This is a small group of developers that want to just develop here, Brick, Lakewood. I mean, the infrastructure's horrible in a lot of our county. Not everywhere, but in a lot of it is. And it's costly to fix. And our schools are losing money. And we're paying more for transportations. And we have a lot of shared services, and we should. That's great. But there are other things that, when's enough enough? I don't mind paying more taxes if I see I'm getting more services, if I see my grandkids are getting more services. I don't want to just pay for nothing. And more services are being taken away. So I do thank you guys for condemning the hate, because we all do. But before you do, or it comes up again, because I feel like there was a lot of people who were pressuring you to go after one particular group, look at the site. Read the comments. Not going to tell you there's no idiots on there, but the majority of them aren't. The majority are pretty informed. And so are the maps, and they're up to date, and so are the views on the deforestation, the roads, the sewerage, the tax on the water system, the groundwater, all of it. So thank you again for doing it, and take a look at the site. Take a look.
Again, I think you'd have some people that would argue that, that they have a difference of opinion in terms of what the intent of some of the folks are on that website.
I just said to you, I just said that to you.
Yeah.
If you had a business and you had 7,000 factory workers working for you, you're going to tell me that a couple of them aren't going to be idiots?
Well,
Especially on a website.
The behavior is the behavior of some people.
And a lot of them
cause an issue for everyone else.
And a lot of them have been ousted out. They've been thrown out. What do you call it when you can't get on the site anymore? They've done that to them.
Right. But unfortunately, the damage is done. When you have
The
folks
damage isn't just done from that site, sir. Jackson.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
That's why I'm glad you did it across the board. But I'm asking you to spend some time on the site that isn't just like Jackson Strong or the fake Rise Up Ocean County. Go on the site. Look at the maps. It'll help you when you're up here. Look at the maps about the groundwater. It'll help you up here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentleman behind. You. Yeah. I'll call you out. You, sir. Yes, you. Sorry.
I'll just be very brief.
Your name again, sir?
Yeah, your name and address for the record, please.
Michael Cohen, 100 Huguenot Avenue, Englewood, New Jersey. I just wanted to make one very specific point. The individual who spoke just now was stating that with over 7,000 followers, you can't blame everybody on the site. If you look at what the resolution that Ocean County passed, it specifically wanted to make sure to protect against blaming every single person on that site, and specifically said, whereas objectionable actions of the creators and administrators of Rise Up Ocean County include, and they went into about the specifics of how the creators and administrators who are responsible for the content of the Pastor Niemöller poem being used in that fashion, and they are responsible for the content on the videos that they have put out using children, as we discussed earlier. Nobody in this resolution or in the resolution passed in other townships is condemning 7,000 people. We are saying the creators and administrators of the site who specifically are taking responsibility for creating those videos in those specific instances should be condemned for those actions. And that's all we're saying.
Those videos
So I want to make sure.
Ma'am, please, let the gentleman is speaking, he has the floor. I don't want you to have to interrupt him. If you do, we'll ask you to have it removed from the meeting. Okay, I'm sorry. The gentleman has the floor, and he didn't interrupt you. I don't expect you to interrupt him.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So I just wanted to make the very significant differentiation between what the resolution from Ocean County, what the resolution for other townships is saying, and what the individual that spoke prior to me is insinuating that they're saying. There's a massive differentiation there.
Okay.
Thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
I appreciate it.
Yes. Anyone else wish to speak? The lady, I'm sorry, yeah, come on up.
Hi, Tova Herskovitz. Address?
Yeah, just turn it up a little bit and speak into it.
Okay. 251 Downhill Run.
Yeah, Mark will help you. Is that better? Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Got my address?
Yes, we have it.
Okay. Hi, just want to first of all state for the public record, I never bring my kids with me anywhere. We were just on our way from another event, so let that be on the record. Sorry about the distraction. Okay. So I'm here because I live in Toms River. I've been here for around 6 months. And while I understand that, most of Toms River, especially the township, is, welcoming to all sorts of people who are coming to live and participate in the community, there's definitely a feeling of fear and uncertainty among, my friends, my neighbors who are Orthodox, and kind of wondering how much of this hatred that we see on Facebook and elsewhere, how much of that is an extreme group and how much of that is actually representative of the general population, of how the township, how the government feels towards us moving in. And so there's definitely apprehension on our part, and as helpful it is to condemn hate speech, it would be nice if there was something condemning the outright anti-Semitism. Because I feel like that's often something that's overlooked. I went to Rutgers Graduate School for Social Work, and I remember someone who I co-interned with. We were interns at the Berkeley Township schools. I was an intern on the child study team, and she asked me if she could interview me for this cultural and diversity class she was having about different cultures. And I said, sure. And we went out to Dunkin' Donuts, and we had a whole long interview. And then later she told me that her teacher said that it couldn't be counted because I wasn't of a different race, or I wasn't a person of color, and so, kind of like, it wouldn't count. She needed to interview someone of a different color, which was a little disappointing because I felt like there definitely was something I could share if she's learning about different cultures and diversity. So there's definitely a tendency to kind of, overlook when subtle or blatant anti-Semitism comes out. So I'm here to ask that if specifically the anti-Semitic remarks can be addressed. And then I just wanted to say, on behalf of my community, specifically the women in the Orthodox community, we're here and we're open for dialogue. I've been passing these out all night. This is a girls' night out that was the brainchild of some Orthodox friends of mine, and on the committee we have Black women, we have Latino women, we have women from, the non-religious parts of the Jewish community, and so we're really trying to build bridges. And I guess my message is, if there's anyone who wants to reach out and who wants to talk about specific issues, we're happy to speak and to discuss those. But anonymous Facebook groups are just not helpful at all. Thank you.
Thank you. Lady in the blue, you're right there. Yeah, come on up.
Good evening. My name is Chani Jacobowitz. I live at 101 Arlington Avenue in Lakewood, New Jersey. I am the Vice President for Government Affairs at Beth Medrash Gavoa in Lakewood. And I'm here on behalf of myself, as well as many affiliated with our school, who I believe have some similar comments. So the first thing I wanted to note is, watching the whole meeting tonight, I felt it was actually very good that this discussion took place tonight, because the first thing that I saw happen when you opened the meeting was you're celebrating the sacrifice and volunteerism of your auxiliary police officers and good people who were coming forward to give of themselves with no compensation, come home from work on weekends, give up their family time. I think that they represent the best of what Toms River, Lakewood, Jackson, Ocean County is all about. And the reason that I feel it's related to this discussion is because it pains me to see Rise Up Ocean County show the world over the internet a very different picture that distorts what the good people of Ocean County are all about. And for that reason, we feel it's important that Rise Up Ocean County and websites and Facebook presence and online presence and in-person presence that do such thing be called out by name. The other interesting thing that I noticed tonight, might just be me, is that you have actually managed to achieve consensus among all sides. I was listening to the speakers who spoke before Tova, both of them. They both seem to agree that the council, you've made some very powerful, very true, and very appreciated statements, but the council has still not clarified whether you include Rise Up Ocean County within the broader scope of those hate groups that you called out this evening. And until that's clarified, it's probably going to continue to be up for debate. It was certainly put up a few days ago already on the Rise Up Ocean County Facebook page when they commented on an article that foreshadowed what would happen here tonight. So respectfully, I have a question for the council, which is, you understand that there was a broader condemnation here, but is Rise Up Ocean County included within the category of those groups about which you expressed concern in the resolution?
Instruct the council not to comment on specific websites.
Okay. The other thing I did want to do is, again, address the previous speaker who asked if the council had been privy to what's going on the Facebook page. I certainly respect anybody who wants to stay away from that page. I want to as well, but I do feel that in the capacity in which I work, it's important to be aware of what's going on in all segments of the community. So I just want to read out a couple of comments in case you haven't seen them that are evocative of what's going on this site. Deceit is the essence of ultra-Orthodox culture. These anti-Semitic pages are here to make everyone on this page out to be a racist. This is because the exposure of these people is gaining momentum. Keep exposing these parasites. It's like their welfare and food stamp stealing. Once you know the system, tell everyone else. After all, they'll get amnesty and a slap on the wrist. Why not push the limits? Proof that the rats are cornered and biting back. Maybe they can string a magic get over on God wire around town hall and exempt themselves from the rules. If not, RUOC will raise awareness too high to expand the colony. We should nuke Lakewood, just blow it right off the map. And I understand that you might say these are commenters, these are not the administrators. The administrators of this page have chosen to trumpet that they stand united against anti-Gentilism. That's a term, I didn't understand what that meant. I just thought it was weird. So I called the Anti-Defamation League to ask them. And what they explained to me is that that's a term that's used by white supremacists, such as David Duke. And it's similar to saying that we are not racist, we're just against white genocide and other such garbage. And this is the logo of the group. So again, I consider myself a somewhat educated person. I have a master's degree. I didn't know this. I thought that the council might want to be aware of this as well as everyone else present and the press that's here tonight. And thank you again for your comments and your understanding.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else would like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, how are you? I don't live in Toms River, I live in Jackson, but I didn't get a chance to speak in Jackson, and I wanted to speak because I feel like I have a little bit of a unique perspective on this issue.
Your name, please?
Yeah, could you give us your name and address for the
Sure,
record?
Rena Yakubovsky, 6 Pitney Lane, Jackson.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Rena Yakubovsky, 6 Pitney Lane, Jackson.
Okay. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think I'm a little slightly different from probably every single person in this room because I was born and raised in a place where anti-Semitism was okay. It was really par for the course. It was fine to say Hitler should have finished the job, Jews are vermin, and all the other things that Hindi mentioned before. That was just the atmosphere that I grew up in. As you can imagine, that's not a pretty good place to grow up in. I grew up in St. Petersburg, Russia, in the former Soviet Union. And, you know, if you were old enough or you paid attention in history class, you know, the communists were not very, very tolerant. And Jews were definitely not their favorite. I think I want to say that Rise Up Ocean County is a very, very good website for communist Russia in the 1980s. So if I could borrow a joke for President Obama, Rise Up Ocean County, the 1980 Soviets are calling and they want their website back. You know, 30 years ago, my parents didn't want me to grow up in a place like that, so they brought me here. And they left their family, their friends, their possessions, everything, because they didn't want me to grow up in a place where I'm going to be exposed to comments such as Hitler should have finished the job and Jews are vermin, and I don't want to continue with all the other ones. And things are going pretty great for 30 years until, you know, a couple of months ago, someone sent me this link and said, you know, gotta see this. So I clicked on that and I saw and I read and I read and I read, and it was like deja vu. Not the good kind. The, you know, goosebumps kind. It was deja vu. I couldn't believe this. Is this, you know, I'm saying 2019 United States of America, or is this 1980s communist Russia? It was weird. So I stand here today and I'm for each and every one of you. Don't let hate rear its ugly head here in this amazing, the most amazing country in the world. We're all different, but that's the beauty of this country. You know what I'm saying? We could come together and we could live together and we could work together and we can make it a better place and we could all do better, but only if we do it as Americans with peace and tolerance and not like Soviets with hate and propaganda. And, you know, when I first came to America, the first thing I learned was the Pledge of Allegiance. So, you know, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So I call on you to, you know what I'm saying, to condemn this group that wants to divide us and go against that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? This lady.
I'm just kidding. Hello, my name is Judy Fuentes, and everything that I've heard is so eloquent.
Can you give us your
amazing.
address,
Yes.
please?
It's 1741 Beacon Street, Toms River, New Jersey, 08757. So my name is Judy Fuentes, and I'm a community leader, but I'm also a Latina, and I represent at least 1% of my population, right, if I'm the only one that's going to speak up for our group. I don't have anything so powerful and eloquent, you know, to say like these people that have come up here, except to say, you know, I'm just coming in a spirit of love. I love my Jewish neighbors. I love, you know, that they're family-oriented, that they love their children, that they're a good example. Is everything perfect in their community? No. But is it in ours? No, right? But we have to be able to live together, symbiotically together, in a spirit of camaraderie, in a spirit of kindness and love. You know, let love be, thank you so much, you know, the thing that keeps us together. I am so horrified because I feel that the spirit of anti-Semitism is getting worse, and it shocks me every time that people think that they could talk the way that they talk about the Jewish community in my presence. And I have had to, you know, say something. No, it stops here, not with me. You're not going to do that, okay? And we need to say those things. We need to stop it right there when it starts to go into our ear gate, okay? We can't continue like this. It's getting worse. I am disturbed when I hear that, you know, money, coins are being thrown at Jewish children. I don't care what color, creed, anything you are. No child deserves to be thrown metal objects in their faces. I am saddened when I hear that, people drive and, scare people like they're going to run them off the road or hit them so that they could, laugh when they're, stunned, or whatever, shocked that somebody's doing that. This can't go on. It hurts me. And what propels me and what it pushes me and whatever, not just, the adults in that community, but the children. What do they have to do with any of this, right? What if it was my kid? What if it was your child? What, your grandchildren? It doesn't matter. It should not be. And it breaks my heart every single time I hear this. I can't. We have to really rise up and rise up in a positive manner. We have to say, no, it stops here with me. We're not going to do this. We're going to live together. We have to do that. We have to spread love. We have to share that, okay? And that might sound simplistic, but actually I think it's the strongest thing of all. You know what I mean? So please help us. Please listen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing what you did. You know what I mean? But to me, as a non-Jew, that stuff that's spewed there, it's totally anti-Semitic. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that. And that's a big, fat no-no. And also, we have the responsibility of teaching our own children, and I do, ever since they were like that little, okay? To love, to share, no matter where people are from. That doesn't mean that we're trying to change each other. It just means that we're trying to live peacefully together. And I didn't even know what half of that thing meant, like Jersey Strong and all that, so it's continuously shocking to me. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. Please, help us. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mark will help you.
Buki Kalashiner, 2121 Discovery Way.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Buki Kalashiner, 2121 Discovery Way, and I'm a proud resident of Toms River. I'm not going to bore you with speeches, and I'm definitely not going to preach to the choir, because everybody in this council, the mayor, Don, and everybody else in this room, and I believe majority of people in Toms River, and I'd love to say all, no, we're all against hate, every single person over here. And Chief Little with Toms River United, the initiatives that he has done, thank you so much for every single one of you for always standing up there and for doing the right thing for humanity. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, if anybody has any issues they would like to discuss, please reach out to the Toms River Jewish Community Council. You can reach out to me, info@trgcc.org. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, anyone else want to speak before we close it?
Seeing none, move to executive session.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Boy, we got to reach pretty far to get plugs, huh? We got to put more plugs here. Put a strip or something because, it's ridiculous. You gotta go way over. Good job.
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances to discuss matters requiring confidentiality and/or of a privileged nature, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean and State of New Jersey as follows. The Township Council will now conduct a private executive session. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed and/or acted upon is as follows. Matters of personnel, matters of litigation, land acquisitions, and contract negotiations. The following specific items to be discussed and/or acted upon are as follows. Executive session minutes from February 12th and January 23rd. Personnel issues of the clerk's office and administration. Review of status of all real property acquisitions. Review of pending litigation matters. Possible acquisition of real property and open space purposes, and status of internal investigations. It is anticipated that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Council that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality.
Ladies, I just gave you my,
Executive session was called at 8:24 PM with all in favor. Motion made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilwoman Maruka.
All right, it'll be for your spot, this one. We gave them first one to East Florida.
I spoke to 3 trustees, and they're like, shit.
No, I'm not.
I know, one of the trustees is like, yeah, and I'm like,
Well, you know, 200, whatever it costs to do it.
yeah, fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you don't even, use it for other stuff. Yeah, he was in a town called Becky. You know where that is? Yeah, because that was in fact, my wife and daughter went over to the last name was that was in Ukraine, and what happened was it went between Ukraine and Poland. So before the war it was in Ukraine. After the war, Poland got it. And that's where he grew up. It's Becky. It's a pretty. When they went to Warsaw, it took like a couple bus rides and everything, 2 hours to get there.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have motion to adopt the first set of minutes of January 23rd?
So moved.
Oh. And the February 12th minutes? All in favor?
No, that's to be a roll call.
Okay. Motion was made by Councilwoman Maruka.
No.
Okay. For the minutes of January 23rd, 2019, motion was made by Councilwoman Maruka, second by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilwoman Maruka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick? Councilman Hill?
Yes.
Councilman Roderick? Councilman Turnbach? Councilman Kubel?
Yes.
Council President Whitman? For the minutes of February 12, 2019, motion was made by Councilwoman Maruka?
No.
Oh, Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by
Councilman Turnbull, I think it was.
Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Yurick. Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Maruka.
Abstain, I was not present.
Councilman Roderick.
No, this one, you were here for this one.
Councilman Kubel. Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Motion adjourned.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, my goodness.